My name is H.A. Goodman, and I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. It is happening, ladies and gentlemen. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. It is happening. I knew March, and I knew this year would hold some very, very interesting things, especially for President Trump. Good, positive developments. Lindsey Graham reboots FISA investigation, FISA violation investigation with expansive DOJ document request. This is very interesting because it sets the ball in motion. It lays the groundwork for finding out how and why the FBI and President Obama's administration utilized a dossier that was literally purchased by Hillary Clinton. She funneled money through her law firm, as well as the Democratic Party. The Steele dossier was purchased by Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party. CrowdStrike was outsourced by Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party. By the way, check out my Second Amendment channel, and my Patreon link is below to support my voice long-term in the pinned comment. In a letter sent Thursday to Attorney General William Barr, Graham asked for all FBI and Justice Department documents related to investigators' attempt to verify allegations made in the dossier, which was authored by former British spy Christopher Steele and funded by Democrats. Look, there were zero attempts, and we have a new DOJ. You don't have Rod Rosenstein's leaving. He might be leaving tomorrow, or today, I should say, or next week. He's leaving. There's a new number three that was just chosen today by President Trump. There's a number two. Both the number two and the number three at the DOJ are actually in the Trump administration already. Were in the Trump administration already. And you have William Barr, who I don't know. I'm not saying trust Barr. I don't know. He could be another Sessions. I will say this. I have a hard time believing, I really, really, really have a hard time believing that President Trump would pick two Jeff Sessions. I have a hard time believing a guy like Trump, who's good at strategy. Trump is very good at strategy. Very good. He outmaneuvered a $1.2 billion machine. Clinton raised $1.2 billion. He raised $600 million, and he won the election. I have a hard time. I have a really difficult time believing that Trump would do this to himself again. Now, when he first hired Sessions, he didn't know that Sessions would recuse himself. He stated that numerous times. He stated that at CPAC as well. But Senate Judiciary Chairman Lindsey Graham is resuming an investigation of potential violations by the FBI. The FBI relied highly on Steele's report to obtain a warrant against Trump campaign advisor Carter Page. This is how, and I've been saying this for 2 years, this is how they began the investigation. They had no evidence of anything. They needed to set up Trump and frame him. Clinton actually committed numerous crimes. Major Espionage Act violations. Major. She committed numerous crimes. They were never going to charge her. James Baker, who is under criminal investigation, wanted to charge her. Actually, we found that out a couple weeks ago. He agreed with me. When I was saying the indictments were imminent, he thought the indictments were imminent too. He was the FBI's top lawyer. James Comey, quote-unquote, talked him out of it, meaning he overruled his own lawyer at the FBI. Obviously, she broke laws. Everybody knows this. But they needed to set up Trump. So what they did was they utilized a monstrosity called the United States government. An absolute monstrosity. When the wheels are set in motion, it's kind of like the U.S. government, any government really, but especially the U.S. government, is like a giant locomotive. And even if it's going in a direction it shouldn't, once the wheels are set in motion, once the the train is ready to go. It just keeps chugging along. Another analogy, or could be, it's this giant boulder. Just they push this boulder down a hill, and just the weight of the United States government when an investigation is started. The FBI and the CIA and all of them, when you have Brennan, who hates Trump with a passion, who had his security clearance taken away, which is fantastic. I love how the Democrats were like, "Oh my God, you took his security," and Clinton's security clearance also. By the way, she's running again in 2020. But anyway, they are what they're doing. What they did was they set in motion a giant bureaucratic machine. They used a dossier that was just complete fake news. It was just gossip. Imagine if they used gossip to indict Clinton. Could you imagine the left? But it was just gossip. And the Carter Page warrant, even though it was illegal, because they didn't tell the judge that a dossier was purchased by Hillary Clinton and that it was opposition research that they had no intention of trying to verify. Even Michael Cohen was suing BuzzFeed. So the guy sold his soul he was facing life in prison, and he sold his soul to get 3 years. Manafort got 4 years, and he didn't pull all these theatrics. And by the way, Michael Cohen lied under oath. He did ask President Trump for a pardon. Oopsie. Now they're trying to add more years in terms of a criminal charge for perjury. Oopsie. Guess you shouldn't have done that. But they set in motion a monstrosity with the FISA warrant on Carter Page. They were able to then begin an overreaching investigation utilizing two entities, Fusion GPS and CrowdStrike, to justify complete and utter nonsense. When the history of this time period is written, people are going to look back and say, how on earth did anyone believe that Russia hacked the DNC to inform the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated, and that Russia interfered in the election against Hillary Clinton, who's running again? For 2 years, we had to hear this ridiculous, absurd theory. And now we know with the Mueller report, there's nothing there for 2 years. But, we weren't consumed with this as in American politics for her to say, well, Amy Klobuchar, make salad eating great again. But finally, let me just finish this thought, because you know me. Once they got the dossier and a third-party entity, CrowdStrike, to give copies and images of DNC servers to the U.S. government, why would you trust images from a company that was outsourced by Democrats? The U.S. government never touched DNC servers. They were able to utilize that, and then the warrant against Carter Page. And from that, they justified going after George Papadopoulos. They justified going after Paul Manafort, who they knew engaged in a whole bunch of shady behavior long before the election. Papadopoulos, they set up beyond belief. Okay, he only got 2 weeks in jail because Peter Strzok, I know Peter Strzok set up General Flynn. When you are interrogated by FBI agents, you don't even have to lie. America is literally relying on the word or the 302s, the written notes of FBI agents. We have no clue what's going on. Can you believe, as a society in 2019, we have no clue whether Peter Strzok was telling the truth, which he wasn't. Peter Strzok stated, literally, we will stop Trump. We will stop it. We will stop his presidency. And so all of this is under the umbrella of the United States government not trying to verify a dossier that everyone in the FBI and Brennan and all of them, Clapper, knew to be complete nonsense. Yet they utilized that for an overreaching investigation. They framed General Flynn. I mean, this is like treacherous. They had already investigated him before the election. They found nothing. The Washington Post and New York Times stated before the election, before Trump won, that, well, you know, the FBI investigated. They found nothing. There's no evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. Manafort was wiretapped. General Flynn was wiretapped. Papadopoulos was surveilled. They already had, what was it? They already had servers from Trump Tower because of a suspicious communication with a Russian bank. Meanwhile, Bill Clinton met with Vladimir Putin at his home. Could you imagine the two eating popcorn and watching, like, old movies together? At his home outside Moscow. This is according to Newsweek and The Hill. By the way, if I have this, I'm recording this and I don't know if I've been published again in a wonderful publication, but if I have, it'll be below in the pinned comment, and you share that everywhere on social media, if you want to. I'm not even going to say the title. I'm not going to give you the entire title because, at this moment right now when I'm doing this segment, recording this, it hasn't been published yet. But if it is published, oh my God, it will explain everything going on in the Democratic Party pertaining to the latest scandal. Literally, if you say the name of a politician in the Democratic Party, that's like against the algorithm here. So anyway, Lindsey Graham is going to demand documents pertaining to how they tried to determine if their basis for an investigation was based on evidence or accuracy or whether it was legitimate. Which this is what happened, they got the dossier, there was nothing, they knew there was nothing there, but they didn't care. And what they did was circular, fraudulent type of, they had friendly journalists in liberal, progressive publications. The FBI and the IG report talked about this. The FBI would feed them stories, two in particular that I won't mention, but it's commonly known who they are. And these journalists would then write these blockbuster articles, and then the FBI agents would use the articles to justify the FISA warrants. So if Lindsey Graham is investigating this, it's going to lead directly to Strzok, it's going to lead directly to Comey, and directly to Andrew McCabe, and directly to people around them. Maybe James Baker. Andrew McCabe and James Baker are already under criminal investigation. James Comey could be under criminal investigation himself. They're already investigating the fact that he leaked information. If there's even a modicum of the Department of Justice or the Senate Judiciary doing their job, James Comey, Clapper and Brennan, they're so slimy that they might have weaseled out of, but Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Baker, all the FBI agents around them who committed all these illegal and fraudulent and criminal and immoral acts, they're very much in a great deal of trouble. If there's just a little bit, if William Barr just does a little bit of what he needs to, and if Lindsey Graham investigates, I mean, if you have documents that say the FBI did nothing to verify the dossier, but they used it anyway, that is breaking the law. There are laws against that, and John Solomon wrote that. Who was it? The Hill, or I forgot which article, but no, Paul Sperry. Paul Sperry wrote, there are laws against fraud. This is a fraud and it's a conspiracy to commit a fraud. And especially in terms of this is the country's top law enforcement agency. You have FBI agents who are literally just utilizing their bureaucracy to justify political retaliation. Trump won, so we have to delegitimize him. And they went after a political rival, and then now they're going to say when eventually Clinton gets indicted, she'll get indicted eventually. She's committed way too many crimes. They'll say he's going after a political rival. That's what they did with Trump. And MSNBC and New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, they're all like, "Oh, these people are above board, and there was a reason for it. There was no politics involved. It was all partisan versus Trump. It was all one team versus another team." But Trump wasn't the corrupt one. So he might not be a saint throughout his years in business, but he's not a criminal like James Comey or Hillary Clinton, or under criminal investigation like Andrew McCabe and James Baker. Trump didn't do anything. That's why after 2 years they found nothing. And believe me, if Mueller could find something, he would. He is there for one purpose. He was under President Obama's administration. There was an FBI there's a bribery and racketeering scandal regarding the shipments of uranium outside the U.S. government. Trucking companies being bribed by Russian officials. This happened all under Mueller, under President Obama's watch, as President Obama presided over the sale of 20% of U.S. uranium capacity to Putin. And they flipped the script, and they did everything possible, ladies and gentlemen, every single thing possible to make Trump this Russian, question marks with his contacts. And they're the ones who, if you want to look at contacts, I mean, in what world would the United States ever sell uranium to Russia? Well, under President Obama's world. That's why when you hear like no drama Obama, well, yeah, sure, of course not. There's the media and the intelligence community and President Obama's entire administration were in unison, and the Democratic Party. So, yeah, I mean, of course there's no drama. The same journalists who can't stand Trump, who every day say, "Oh my God," today they were mourning the fact that Manafort only got 4 years. People were outraged. I mean, this is where the Democratic Party is. If I'm published, and I don't know if it's going to be published today or hopefully soon, but the publication is very interested in it, share that article everywhere. I'm not even going to tell you the full name of the article, but it's the reason why Democrats can't do something. You could put 2 and 2 together regarding what's taken place. Anyway, if that article's up, share that everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, it's on. It is on. It's happening. It's starting. And 2019 is going to be like the James Brown song, The Big Payback. Hit subscribe to this channel. We're growing. We're growing again. After a little hiatus from... We're growing. My Second Amendment channel is below. I had an upload yesterday. And check out my latest articles. Thank you. It's happening, ladies and gentlemen. Trump is getting to the bottom of everything. New investigation into the FISA violations. Thank you.